not only am I a nurse affected by this pandemic at work, I'm also a nurse affected by this pandemic at home. I've had family members who have been affected by it, and I'm sure you have too, so my thoughts and prayers go out to you and yours. Hey guys, it's Nurse Allie. What's up? How y'all doing? Okay guys, so let's talk coronavirus, aka COVID-19, aka SARS-CoV-19. So I decided to do a video about COVID-19 mainly because, one, I am a registered professional nurse, and my secondary reason is because I've had family members who have been affected by it. Let's talk coronavirus, COVID-19. What is it? Coronavirus is obviously a virus.
Obviously, that sounded so bad.
So let's talk COVID-19. COVID-19 is the most recent pandemic that we're dealing with in America right now. We've had pandemics before, but not in our lifetime, right? The way in which we deal with this one is going to indicate how we move forward in the future in healthcare. COVID-19 is a virus that affects the respiratory system, mainly the lungs. Even after you've recovered from the virus, you will still have residual effects. On your chest x-ray, they can see scar tissue. The virus had infected and affected your lungs. Some signs and symptoms of COVID-19: shortness of breath, fever, cough, a sore throat, and other flu-like symptoms such as malaise, body aches, anything that you would normally get while you have the flu. This is a flu-like disease, but it's way more dangerous than the regular flu. With New York City being the epicenter or ground zero for COVID-19 in the United States, I felt like it was very important for me to talk about several things regarding COVID-19. COVID-19 out here in the streets, like how people are dealing with it, the changes in people, the behaviors, COVID-19 in the hospital, COVID-19 in my specific unit, which is the neonatal ICU, which people don't think that we're affected, but we definitely are. COVID-19 at home. Nurse Allie, what's up with COVID-19 in the city? Let me tell you, people are wearing masks, gloves, face shields, scarves around their face, which is kind of sketchy, like bandanas. I'm a little scared. I'm not gonna front. Anyway, okay. The biggest pet peeve of mine with the changes in the city, and de Blasio and Cuomo recommend now that we wear a mask every time we're out in public. My biggest thing is people misusing the mask, the gloves, PPE, which is personal protective equipment, in the wrong way. They're misusing it. For example, if I have on a pair of gloves and I go out in the street and I have on a mask, and I'm not used to wearing a mask, and I don't necessarily know how to wear a mask. I've seen upside down masks, inside out masks. They're saying, yeah, put on a mask, but you're not giving the people instructions on how to, what we call don, put on, or doff, take off this personal protective equipment. So now you have people who are not healthcare professionals, who've never worn a mask and gloves in their life, putting on gloves, touching everything, and then adjusting their mask, which is near their eyes, nose, and mouth, which obviously we know this is how the flu is transferred, and the same virus is transferred from one human to another. It has to touch your mucous membrane, which is your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. So now here we have people wearing masks, not all the way over their nose, but under their nose because they can't breathe, and all kinds of stuff. Biggest takeaway from this portion is please wash your hands. Do not wear gloves unless you're going to be touching something really dirty. If you're just going to be touching regular surfaces and you're concerned, then after you touch the regular surfaces, be mindful not to touch your face, but also wash your hands. Immediately when you come in from shopping, wash your hands, throw out your plastic bags, anything that has a hard surface that can carry the virus into your home. Your shoes, leave them outside or at the door. Your jacket at the door, your bag at the door, so that when you come into your home, you're making yourself as clean as possible. COVID-19 in the hospital. What's going on in the hospital is fear, and I'm talking about with healthcare workers, fear, anxiety, stress. And in order to get up to go for another shift, you experience this overwhelming feeling of, I really don't want to do this another night or another day. I work nights, so I don't want to do this another night. Not only are you still taking care of the regular people who do need taking care of, you're taking care of the COVID-19 positive patients, you're taking care of PUI, patient under investigation. So someone comes in and they have all the signs and symptoms of COVID-19 and they get put on quarantine, is what you guys call it. Isolation is what we call it in the hospital. They get put on contact isolation or droplet precaution isolation or respiratory precaution isolation. Or these different types of isolations, there are different levels of PPE that have to be worn in order to be in contact with this patient. The World Health Organization, also the CDC, confirmed that this is an airborne virus. So once something is airborne, which is the highest level of isolation you can be on, you're in a negative pressure room, which means every time you open the door, the air gets sucked back into the room and not go out like it would normally do if there wasn't a pressurized room. So once it goes airborne, that's the highest level. That means it cannot be droplet. It cannot be just contact. We're airborne and that's it. With that, we have to put on eye protection, either a face shield or goggles. You have to wear a specific mask called an N95. I'll show you. This is a duckbill N95 mask. Looks like this. This is called a respiratory mask. And then they have other ones, which they're calling N95. This is also an N95 mask. You have to make sure it says N95 on it. Respirator mask. Then this is a surgical mask. And this is what people in the street are commonly wearing. This is what Cuomo said we should wear. With all the anxiety and the fear associated with taking care of these patients, the unions, the hospitals, and the administration are putting forth efforts to provide mental health services for the healthcare workers. They're calling us frontline workers who have to deal with these patients, because a coworker and I were talking and one of our managers got intubated, which means a breathing tube down his throat, and got put on a ventilator. So that was very scary for us. Also, I've had personally one of my coworkers in the neonatal ICU pass away from COVID-19. Talk about being affected. We are currently in week 7, going on 8 of this global pandemic. We don't necessarily know if there's an end in sight. So we're working as hard and as diligently as we possibly can as healthcare workers to take care of the people who need us the most. COVID-19 in the neonatal ICU, a lot of people would think that, oh, the NICU is not really affected because it's premature babies. What if mom is positive? What if mom and dad are positive for COVID-19 tested? So when a mom comes into the hospital now, automatically they get tested and automatically they get put on isolation. And then they have to deliver this baby with a mask on their face. They either come to the neonatal ICU if they need us. Mom has a fever, babies come into the neonatal ICU, and now this turns into a PUI, as I referred to before, patient under investigation. They're automatically put on isolation. Every admission we have, it's a little nerve-wracking that we're going to be taking care of somebody potentially who has COVID-19, and we don't know until the tests come back. So we have to take all the precautions, mask, gloves, gown, face shield, eye protection, in order to take care of this baby, in order to admit this baby. So they're also making the nurse who's going to admit the baby go to labor and delivery to go get their baby, so that we minimize the amount of exposure to the potential patient who has COVID-19. So COVID-19 at home. At home, we're dealing with, I'm Jamaican. I don't know if I mentioned that before. I don't think I did, but I am Jamaican. I was born there, raised here. So the majority of my family is Jamaican. At least 90 to 95% of my family was still born in Jamaica. I'm not even like a first generation immigrant because I was born there, but my younger brother was born here. Having a West Indian background, you don't know, Jamaican men are very stubborn. Very, very stubborn. Like what happened with my uncle, I went and I checked his temperature. He was having a fever of 100.4 and he refused to get tested. He went and took a shower. What? And then when I asked him, why did you take a shower? He was like, big man have no fever. What? Like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works, okay? So you're potentially, I'm like, you have to isolate. Immediately I put on my N95 mask. I help them spray down like any communal surface, such as the refrigerator. Like, a lot of people forget that. Refrigerator handles, stove knobs, light switches, plug, like anything that everybody touches. Doorknobs, big, okay? Bathroom, the knobs you turn on and off your water. Flush for the toilet. People do not think beyond like, oh, I gotta spray the doorknobs. No, you spray everything with Lysol.
You spray everything with Lysol. You spray everything with Lysol.
So I helped them do that, and then him and his wife didn't isolate, so then his wife got it, and I'm just like, I'm stressing out because I know my dad goes over there a lot, and like I said, Jamaican men don't listen, and he definitely went over there. Now I'm just like, Daddy, you can't be leaving the house like this. Of course, I'm getting pure argument from him. Big man leave house when him want to leave the house. You can't. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, all right, throw one of these on. Keep it on. You know where I see it? Hanging in his truck. All right. Enough about that, because then I'm going to get upset.
Because if he gets anybody in here sick, I'll be mad.
But because I'm the one mostly exposed. I'm going to work. I'm in the hospital. I got to take elevators with people. I'm doing my best to keep the virus out of my house. And he's just, like I said, let me stop there because I'm going to get mad. COVID-19 at home. If you don't have Lysol, which is at high demand, short supply, take 1/4 cup bleach and a gallon of water. And bleach is sold everywhere. Bleach, you can get bleach at Dollar Tree right now. So take that, mix it into like a spray bottle. Also get at Dollar Tree. Okay, Dollar Tree did not pay me to promote them, but I'm just trying to speak to people on like the level of people are not working right now and they may only have a couple of dollars to spend on things to keep themselves safe. Spray all your hard surfaces, wipe it down, and that will disinfect. Coronavirus can live on hard surfaces for hours. CDC and World Health Organization have different amount of hours, but we already know it's hours, so let's just take all the precautions we can to limit our exposure to the virus. With a house full of nurses, my mom was a nurse, my younger brother's a nurse, like we all try to self-monitor, which means take our temperature every 12 hours, especially if I've done like 3 days back to back. I kind of isolate myself. So when I get home, I take off my jacket, my bag, my shoes, spray them with Lysol, and it's all in a separate area. I have a laundry bag at the door. I literally take off my scrubs, put them in the laundry bag, and go straight into the shower. I am definitely the one taking the major L, as my brother called it, making suit supply runs. I don't want to sound too Walking Deadish, but that's what it is. I'm making a supply run for the house. Whatever we need for the house, I'm usually the one because I'm already out and I've already been in the mode of taking these precautions. When I get into my car, I spray my hands with the hand sanitizer and then I touch the start button. Then I touch before I do anything else. Like, I'm already in that mode, so it's just safer for me to go out instead of having like my mom, who is in the high risk population, go out. She's almost 65, or my son, who is also in the high risk population because he's 10, to go out with me. I'll just take the L and go out by myself. As far as testing for COVID-19, we have had such an increase of the amount of tests that can be done in the New York City area. Recently, I went for serology testing, which is testing for antibodies. Antibodies are the byproducts, so to speak, of the viral interaction with your body. Your body encounters a virus, it mounts a defense, fights the virus, creates antibodies to recognize this virus if it tries to attack you again. So we don't know how long the antibodies last in your body, but we do know that some people are creating antibodies once they've been in contact with the virus. I've had sort of exposure because I've been in contact with patients during the time that it's been a pandemic, which was in March it started. I was sick prior to that. I was sick in February. So they said if you were sick prior to it being called a pandemic, then we're advising you go get the serology test. New York State was running the serology test and I went and I got it. I get my results back on Friday. I guess I'll let you guys know. See, now you have no choice but to stay tuned. See if I got it. Anyways, I'm gonna make that a whole nother update video. Do I have coronavirus? In New York alone, almost 300,000 cases. We've had almost 18,000 deaths. This is why they're encouraging everyone to stay at home so we can flatten that curve. Worldwide, the cases are over 3 million infected and 215 plus thousand people who have died, and recovered 930,000 plus. We need to do our level best to make sure that we try to follow the guidelines set out for us, because it's up to us. We have the power and we're in control of how fast this virus spreads and how far. Stay at home, wash your hands. Please don't touch your face, especially not with gloves on. I saw someone eating with gloves on. You're on your phone with gloves on. What are we doing here? Just the mask is the most important thing. Gloves are really not important, because if it gets on your hands, you can wash your hands. If it gets in your eyes, nose, and mouth, you might be infected. So let's wash our hands. Thanks for watching, guys. COVID-19, very serious pandemic right now. Are you affected? Is your family affected? I'd love to hear the stories in the comments down below. Just let me know. If you have any other questions, just be like, yo, hey, Nurse Allie, what's up? And I'll be sure to answer you, all right? So I'll see you next time. Tune in, because I got to tell you if I got the coronavirus. It's real. It's getting real. No, okay. I'll let y'all later. Peace.